Most nutrition facts you've been taught are either incomplete or just flat out misleading. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to actually read nutrition facts so you can stop guessing what's healthy, even if you've never tracked calories or really paid attention to labels before. Hey, I'm Amelia. And for years, I genuinely thought I was eating healthy, but I was constantly tired, confused, and honestly frustrated because every nutrition label seemed to tell a different story. I tried cutting carbs, avoiding fat, following whatever trend was popular online at the time, and somehow none of it actually worked. That's when it finally clicked for me. The problem wasn't my willpower. It was that I didn't actually understand how nutrition facts work. Once I learned how to read them properly, things started to make sense. And that's why I created this channel, to help you cut through the noise and avoid the same mistakes I made. Now here's the part most people never get told. When you eat food, you probably think you're eating ingredients: chicken, bread, yogurt, cereal. But most of the time, what you're actually eating is a formula. And once you understand that, the way you look at food completely changes. So I'm going to break this into 4 simple parts. No jargon, no overwhelm, just the truth about what you're really eating. Part 1. Food isn't made the way you think it is. Most people picture food being made like this. Ingredients go in, food comes out. A farm grows food. A factory packages it, you eat it. But that picture is outdated. Today, a lot of the food we eat doesn't really start as food anymore. It starts as raw materials. Here's what that means. Instead of taking a whole ingredient and lightly processing it, modern food production often works in reverse. First, foods are broken down into their most basic parts. Grains are stripped into starch. Plants are reduced to oils. Proteins are isolated and turned into powders. Fiber is often removed because it interferes with texture and shelf life. At that point, the original food is basically gone. Then those pieces are reassembled into something new, something engineered to look, taste, and feel like food again. That's why you'll see dozens of products on the shelf that look totally different, but your body reacts to them almost the same way. You might be thinking, if it still has calories and nutrients, why does this even matter? Because your body doesn't just respond to what's in food, it responds to how that food is structured. When food is broken down and rebuilt, it loses the natural signals that tell your body how fast to digest, when to slow down, and when you've had enough. So instead of a gradual release of energy, you get a spike. Instead of feeling satisfied, you feel hungry again sooner. This is why some foods feel like they barely count, even though they do. You eat them. They go down easily, and before long, you're thinking about food again. That's not because your body is broken. It's because these foods were designed to be easy to eat, easy to digest, and easy to repeat. And here's the key point most people miss. This doesn't mean the food is evil. It means it was optimized for efficiency and shelf life, not for how the human body naturally processes food. Once you understand that, a lot of confusion fades away. You stop asking, "Why am I always hungry?" and start asking, "What kind of food am I actually eating?" And that brings us straight to the next thing most people rely on to make decisions: nutrition labels. Part 2. Why nutrition labels can be misleading. After hearing how food is actually made, most people do the same thing next. They flip the package over and look at the label. Calories, fat, carbs, sugar, protein. It feels logical. It feels scientific. But here's the problem. Nutrition labels don't tell you how food behaves. They only tell you what can be counted. Labels measure food in isolation, almost like your body is a calculator. But your body isn't processing numbers. It's responding to signals. 2 foods can have the same calories and create completely different responses once you eat them. One keeps you full and steady. The other spikes your energy, crashes it, and leaves you reaching for more. And the label doesn't explain why. You might be wondering, isn't that what calories are for? Calories tell you how much energy food contains, not how fast that energy is delivered, not how it affects hunger, and not what happens once digestion starts. Here's something most labels never show. When food is heavily processed, it often digests faster. And faster digestion means quicker blood sugar spikes, weaker fullness signals, and shorter-lasting satisfaction. But on the label, fast-digesting calories look exactly the same as slow-digesting ones. Another thing labels hide is context. A label shows numbers per serving, but it doesn't show how realistic that serving size is, how easy the food is to overeat, or how it fits into a full meal. So a food can look perfectly reasonable on paper, yet behave very differently in real life. This is where a lot of frustration comes from. People are doing what they were told. They're reading labels. They're making smart choices. And yet they still feel hungry, tired, or confused. That's not failure. That's missing information. Labels were designed to meet regulations, not to teach people how to eat. They standardize products. They don't reflect how humans actually experience food. Once you understand that, labels stop feeling like the final authority. They become one data point, not the decision maker. And when you stop letting the label decide for you, something interesting happens. You start paying attention to how food actually makes you feel, not just what the box says it should do. And that awareness sets the stage for the next piece. How many foods are intentionally designed to keep you eating past fullness? Part 3. How food is engineered to make you overeat. Once you understand how food is made and why labels don't tell the full story, the next question gets a little uncomfortable. If this food doesn't really satisfy me, why does it taste so good? The answer is design. Many modern foods are engineered to hit something called the bliss point. That's the precise combination of sugar, fat, salt, and texture that creates maximum pleasure with minimal effort. Not joy, not nourishment, just enough stimulation to make your brain say, more. And this has nothing to do with discipline. Your brain evolved to seek out calorie-dense foods because for most of human history, they were rare. So when your brain detects fast energy, it pays attention. Modern food takes advantage of that wiring. These foods are easy to chew, quick to swallow, fast to digest, and low in resistance. They don't ask your body to slow down, so fullness signals, the ones that tell you you've had enough, arrive late. That's why you can eat a lot of these foods before realizing you're full. And here's something subtle most people don't notice. These foods are often designed to be unsatisfying. Not bad tasting, unsatisfying. You get the initial pleasure, but not the sense of completion that tells your body, we're done. That keeps the eating loop open. You might be thinking, if this is true, why don't I feel out of control all the time? Because the effect is gradual. It shows up as snacking without hunger, eating past fullness without noticing, craving foods even after you've eaten. Not because you're broken, but because the food was designed to bypass your natural stopping points. And the most important thing to understand is this. Overeating isn't always about eating too much. It's often about eating foods that don't register as enough. Once you see that, the shame starts to disappear. You stop blaming yourself and start recognizing patterns. And that leads us to the final shift, rethinking what healthy actually means. Part 4. Why healthy doesn't mean what you think it means. After learning how food is made and how it's engineered to keep you eating, this is where most people get tripped up. Because even when you're trying to choose better foods, you're often being guided by words, not reality. Words like natural, whole grain, low fat, plant-based, heart healthy. They sound reassuring. They feel responsible. But here's the truth most people never hear. These words are marketing shortcuts, not nutritional guarantees. Many of them don't even have strict definitions. They're designed to create trust, not clarity. A food can be labeled whole grain even if most of that grain has been broken down and rebuilt. A food can be low fat because fat was removed and replaced with refined carbs or added sugars. A food can be plant-based and still be highly processed, fast digesting, and engineered for overconsumption. This is why people feel confused. They're doing what they were told, They're avoiding the obvious junk. They're choosing foods that sound healthy, and yet their energy is unstable. Their hunger feels unpredictable, and nothing works consistently. That's not a personal failure, it's a messaging problem. Marketing focuses on what sells, not on how food behaves once it's inside your body. So instead of asking, "Is this healthy?" which is vague and loaded, a better question is, "How close is this to its original form?" That one question cuts through almost everything. The more a food resembles something that once grew, lived, or was harvested, the more likely your body knows what to do with it. The more a food relies on claims, buzzwords, and promises, the more likely it's compensating for what it lacks. This doesn't mean you can never eat packaged food. It means you stop letting packaging think for you. You move from being persuaded to being informed. And once that shift happens, food stops feeling like a moral decision and starts feeling like a practical one. So when you eat modern food, you're often not just eating calories. You're eating speed-digested ingredients, carefully engineered textures, and formulas designed to keep you coming back for more. This isn't about fear or restriction. It's about awareness. Because once you see what's really going on, you have control, and food stops feeling confusing. And in future videos, I'll show you how to apply this in real life, simply, realistically, and without obsession. If this helped you see food differently, subscribe for more videos like this. We keep it simple, honest, and grounded in real life.